Really? You've got to be kidding me.
All right, so over at Ford, folks, quality is job one, or as occasionally my father likes to say, job none. Ford generated the most U.S. recalls for the third straight year. Partial NHTSA data shows. NHTSA data, 30% fewer Ford customers were affected by safety recalls this year than in 2022. That's a win. Meanwhile, Tesla
Yeah.
issued the largest vehicle recall ever of 2023. That being said, Dad, let's look at the data. Ford leading the league again in
Yes.
vehicle recalls, 54 recalls issued, 5.692 million vehicles affected. And the most recalled component, just your powertrain, folks. So
Uh,
just,
Nothing
not good.
major. Yeah, nothing major.
Look at
You
your
know,
domestics, though. You've got Ford number one, then you got Stellantis number two.
yes.
45 recalls, electrical systems for those Stellantis products. So between Ford and Stellantis, you've got, I don't know, a cool 8
Eight
million
and a half
vehicles
million.
recalled. Yeah, 8.5 million vehicles recalled. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Go down that list because it was interesting.
Ford
Forest
number
River,
one,
don't worry
Stellantis
about
number
them. That's
two.
that's
Yep.
okay. Then you have
RVs.
Then you have BMW with 29 recalls, but it only affected 332,000 vehicles. Then Mercedes, 26 recalls, affected 395,000 vehicles.
Everyone's electrical, by the way. Ford's
Yeah.
powertrain, but everyone else is electrical. We got airbags over at GM, though. That's not good. 2 million vehicles.
Yes.
Steering and seats at Nissan affecting 1.8 million vehicles. That's not good.
20 recalls at Kia that affected 3 million. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Trucks, we're good on trucks. JLR, Jaguar, Land Rover,
Yes.
80,000 vehicles impacted. Can't be too surprised by this. More trucks and more
Yes.
RVs.
Yes. So you can see that Ford is, even though there were 21% less recalls by Ford in 2023 than in 2022, they still lead the league by a wide margin. And I don't know, what their excuse can be.
Yeah.
It's not like they didn't lead the league in 2021. It's not like they didn't lead the league in 2022. Um, it, I mean, doesn't somebody have to say, how are we going to correct this? Shouldn't there be a point of emphasis on correcting it? And I know one of the ways that their point of emphasis was to correct it. Well, they were waiting on folks on social media
Yeah.
to make them aware of what the issues were so that they could then take care of them. That just between you, that seems like the most half-assed way of trying to control your quality. And I guess their real hope is that the vast majority never complain because they don't realize they have a problem. They just think, oh, well, maybe that's the way the damn thing was supposed to work.
I'm pretty surprised at how many of those brands were electrical components, Dad, but then Ford's powertrain.
Yes.
That makes me a little bit nervous. That's not the type of stuff. I mean, electrical, we know there are electrical issues in cars. They're computers on wheels. That's why
Yes.
that's why we see a lot of like over the air updates and things like that. That's fine. But when your powertrain is the number one thing being recalled, not a good look. And again,
No.
domestics leading the league. Ford, obviously, number one. All right, so we're having all this conversation about the car market has flipped. It is now a buyer's market, and this is because there's an oversupply of inventory. Prices are too high, and that's forcing manufacturers, dealers, etc., to all lower prices. Now, there is one exception to this rule, which could be, and we've seen this happen in the past, and maybe what we're about to look at is true. The manufacturer intentionally withholding inventory from their dealers. Dad, this story comes out of Canada. CBC News is reporting that new cars are being withheld from Kia's Ontario dealerships and reportedly from many more across the country as part of a controversial plan by Kia Canada to game their 2023 sales numbers. This would not be the first time we've seen an automaker do creative things to try and withhold inventory from their dealers to maintain pricing power. For me, this is a really, you got to be kidding me. What do you make of it?
Yeah, but normally you want to show more sales numbers than lower sales numbers. So why would they want to withhold inventory? What's the method to the madness? what do they gain
Yeah, I
other
don't
than
understand what the OEM gains. I think this is
yeah,
probably corporate BS for we don't want to oversupply our dealers because we've enjoyed our pricing power. That's how I read it.
yeah, but it's costing Kia money to have the cars sit on their floor plan.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm not 100% sure of of what the gain is for them. Um, and why they would care um, that their dealers can still charge market adjustments or things of that nature. It that one doesn't make any damn sense to me at all because manufacturers typically are fighting for every sale that they can get at the end of a model year and pushing as many cars into dealer inventory to encourage dealers to make as many deals as they can at the end of the model year so that they can claim higher sales numbers for the year.
Yeah.
BMW and Mercedes every year fight over who's going to be the largest seller of luxury vehicles. Um, they all do this. So I don't understand. The really you got to be kidding me is this one doesn't make any sense at all. Why would they want to hold back the inventory? Why do they want to have to pay for it when they very well could just ship it to the dealer and be paid instantly for the vehicles? Uh,
Maybe we need to have Marcello from Toyota World back on. He operates up in Canada, and they could ask him the question: What the heck? Like, is this Canada specific? But Dad, I do want to bring up. I mean, earlier this year, General Motors shut down some of
yes,
their Silverado production
yes,
plants, and they said it was because of part shortages. And we haven't had part shortages, like
yeah,
the chip
no, it
shortage.
was.
It was they had an oversupply of inventory, and they were trying to withhold it.
Yeah, but does Kia really have an
In my
oversupply of
opinion,
okay, yes, in your opinion. But does Kia really have an oversupply of inventory at their dealers in Canada? We don't have a way of tracking day supply in Canada, but I can't imagine that it's that much different in Canada than it is here. Um, and yeah, I can understand why, like Chevy would cut production of because their day supply is skyrocketing. That makes sense, but I gotta believe that Kia is probably, if I were to guess, somewhere between a 40 and a 50-day supply of vehicles here in the United States, and probably the same in Canada.
yeah,
It's the North American market. I just that one. It doesn't
something's
take
there.
much.
Something's there because if you're not able to connect the dots, something's there. Something's there.
Well, no, this one really baffles me. I mean, to me, it makes no economic sense for the manufacturer. Okay, because now all those vehicles sitting become an
Yeah.
expense when they could turn that into cash. The dealers would want them so that they can turn around and sell them. It, something's missing.
All right, Bob. So I posted this over on the Exosphere. Here we go.
Yeah.
Dad, this was sent to me.
Yes.
And let me blow it up. Yeah, we'll look at it here. This was sent to me, and this I anonymized this because every time we post this crap, I end up getting letters from lawyers saying we're going to sue you. So I just anonymized this one. So this was sent to me. This was received from someone that doesn't work at a dealership. It was received from a friend of someone who works at a dealership.
Yes.
And the letter reads, quote, what I am willing to do is pay you $10 for each perfect Google review we receive. It is very easy. Just send the links below to everyone you know and tell them to give us a perfect review, 5 stars. And in the comment section, use your name. Example, Tim Nadavit did a great job. Once this is done, we will see it on our Google page and you will receive $10 for each of these. This means if you have a family member or friend go to this dealership and get them to leave 2 perfect reviews, this will pay you $20. If you get 10 reviews, that'll pay you $200. If you get 20, that pays $400, etc.
At least
This
they
is a
can do the
chance to
math.
earn. What was that, Dad?
At least he can do the math.
This is a chance to earn some extra cash quick before the holidays. I am willing to
Mhm.
pay up to $3,000 in total payouts. So you don't. So you need to get on this now before it's too late. Again, this is real, and someone received that from someone trying to solicit fake reviews on a Google page to look good on the internet. Isn't that wild, man?
It's what dealerships do. It's wrong. I used to say, to my salespeople, "Oh, Melissa, happy holidays to you." Um, I used to say to my salespeople, because all manufacturers have CSI, customer satisfaction index scores, and they say to you, you can't coach your customers to give you a good survey. In the old days, you used to say to your customer, "Hey, tell you what, when you get your survey, come on in, bring it in. We'll give you a free oil change that day, and we'll fill out that survey together. What do you say?" Okay, because there were always ways to manipulate the process. And I used to say to my salespeople, if you do an exemplary job in selling your customer the car, going over the car, doing everything so that they completely understand it, you'll never have to beg for a good survey. You're just going to get it organically. And the way you get it organically is you go above and beyond. Okay. And you do all the right things. And that way the owner or the GM doesn't have to beg his sales team to go find 300 people, okay, to leave perfect surveys so that their Google review scores will go up. All that indicates to me is you can't believe your Google reviews. Okay? That's all that means. So as a customer, don't be- don't believe the Google reviews and the Google review scores that you see posted for dealerships, because they have gamed the system, and it's unfortunate.